Hello UniWarriors, it's Lodeous. It's been quite a while since my last video. I'm sorry, I've been busy with school and other things. Today I want to look at a KVT build-up match that took a really long time. I will be skipping through most of this, but I just wanted to illustrate some points with the new KVT meta and stuff. So here we have, this is the first build-up that I had. There's a lot of buried underlings in the ground covering nearly all the Titan forces. Titan's got a lot of plasmas up here at the front. They're a very effective solid wall. Underlings, even buried underlings, it takes quite a few of them to take down even one plasma. So this is formidable. He's got some assimilators out, which means that in order for an underling strike to be worth it, I have to either kill the assimilators or kill enough credits that it's worth losing to cyber underlings, because cyber underlings are really dangerous. Anyway, let me turn on some music. So this is the first round of exchanges. I took out an assimilator. I don't really want to focus on individual tactics. I want to focus on overall strategy with this map. So as you can see in this exchange, I lost about 600 and I killed about 550. Not bad. But one of the biggest things with KVT is every underling attack has to be worth it. You should be widening the credit deficit, even if it's by 100 credits, because if you widen it every single time, then it snowballs really quickly. So I believe there's more build-up now. This underling, I'm just going to have this underling carpet underneath him. He gets more plasma tanks. The borflies are out. You need to pay attention to unit composition very carefully. You don't want too many borflies or they'll be weak to speeders and such, and walkers moving forward. Swarmers are a great deterrent to walkers and also good for attacking mecha. Because if a walker moves to get the swarmers in range, if they can move unrestricted, then the swarmers, if there's no units blocking them, can move to range 2 of the walker and snipe it. So they're a very good deterrent. Worms too, if a walker moves to make them in range, they can go up to range 3, I believe, and snipe it. Which you take return damage, but it's worth it because it's higher cost in some scenarios. In some scenarios, you need to move back. These Pinzers weren't very useful to me. They kind of tied me down. And Garudas are good. They're fast and they deal a lot of damage to heavies quickly. So this all swarmer or this all borfly edge wasn't very good. As I believe, yeah, I substitute out more swarmers. And you just crazy amounts of assimilators. That's a huge deterrent. Although the problem with leaving all these assimilators is if I can kill one and pop up, they'll fall down an underling chain very quickly. They're very easy to kill. Everything else usually takes 2 underling hits. An assimilator can take 1, given the right terrain conditions. If they're on equal terrain. Okay. So another attack is made. As you see, these plasmas are very resilient. And even damaging walkers is sometimes worthwhile because you effectively destroy their striking capability. And this was my first attack. First major attack. Spoilers, it gets repelled. I'm forced to retreat, and the build-up starts pretty much again. That's why I hate this map, but I did learn a lot from this match. I was enjoying it when I was creaming him at the end. So, okay, I will skip through this. So, initial huge credit advantage. Gonna keep trying to press it, which is a good strategy, but as you can see at this point now, he's taking the credit lead. Just continuing to press. These walkers down here are very safe with this. This water is a major hindrance to buried underlings, which is the main force for taking down the Titans. You think air units would be able to go over this water effectively, but they just can't get in range of these walkers. Over here, however, is a different story. This is kind of his weak point as far as attacks go. Levels out. It's about a 600 credit difference now, bringing more stuff up. These pinsers are just too slow, I feel like, to be effective against coming up to plasmas next to walkers, so I didn't build much after that. You'll see this map represents a lot of changing strategy and adaptation for both players. So it looks like they took some cyber underlings. The most important thing you can do with cyber underlings is put an underling over them and make sure they can't bury. That is where they're useful, because once they're buried, they block your underling from going there. And the key to the buried underling strategy is having them everywhere. So little just getting pushed back. The buried underlings are there, but they're getting underlings put under them so they can never bury. They're still good on offense, but we've minimized a major threat of them burying and anchoring that position out. Another reason why this map is really hard to fight KVT is all these spots that break up where underlings can go. All of this area, no buried underlings can get inside, and it leaves a very small line of underlings that can potentially deal damage to units over here. So these med tiles block buried underlings, bases block, the water blocks them, which is huge, a huge part of this map. Continue, and I believe at this point, well, there's still kind of skirmishes, but khraleans are slowly falling back. Oh, major credit advantage now for Viper. Lodeous makes it up. Okay, so yeah, khralean line retreats back to build up positions, and you'll notice that a lot of the underlings have thinned out. They just really couldn't keep up with this. And also, I think I dispatched all the cyber underlings because they're dangerous. And now that buildup starts again. You'll notice infectors to heal wounded units that retreated. Borfly still features prominently. I'd say the units I've used most in this map were underlings first, swarmers second, I'd say borfly third, probably a tie between Garuda worm. I used more worms at the beginning, more Garudas at this point. But underlings are the key. And we're continuing to see build up. Lots. Okay, I think an attack just happened. So as you can see, so many underlings. It's pushing them all the way back to this line. This is very precarious, and all these mecha are here blocking the underlings, but they're just useless except for underling blockers. The reason khraleans can do this so effectively is their units are cheaper than these heavier walkers and plasmas, so they can just put a ton of underlings down and still have a comparative force. And if the Titans tries to rush to attack, he's going to leave himself exposed to all these underlings. So it's a really nasty scenario for Titans. I don't think I've covered a revenge game series that I have with KVT, but I'll show you how to play Titans eventually. I just want to watch. Let's watch this. So swarmers, very effective at what they're used for is sniping walkers, dealing good gang up bonus. They're mildly effective against speeders too, I would say, and when use requires eclipses. But they're very useful against these mechas. So they're primary job is uncovering other buried underlings. And in this case, I had buried underlings in front of their units, so I could uncover ones because they didn't have all the buried units covered in front of them. So that... Oh, here's another reason. This med tile is really critical. These walkers are in a very good defensive position, and it's hard to get them out. And what I learned is assaulting this southern position is practically useless, while assaulting this northern position, you can make headway. So I just shifted my attack up this way. I don't know what the round number is, so I'm not sure if this is the final attack. Another thing that's important is sometimes it's better just to resurface, retreat, and live another day. And I found that after the first failed attack, and I had to make up the credit advantage. So basically the strategy when you're in such a huge build-up map like this and you're having trouble making headway is you might not be able to kill them all in one mega strike battle. So you might just want to do guerrilla warfare with underlings. Resurface, attack, deal lots of credit damage, and retreat, rebury. But the point of retreating and reburying is so that you don't lose the same credits that they have lost. So you've carved out a credit advantage, you heal your wounded units like these swarmers back here that are getting healed by med tiles and effectors, and you leave a huge credit advantage. Now it's about almost 3,000 credit advantage. And most of the units, and the wounded units are retreating. So you want to cycle your units as much as you can. And a lot of these strategies are useful in other matchups. I just specifically highlighting their use in KVT. So I'm going to skip. The borfly were very good for dealing with plasma and speeders. It takes a little bit of protecting them and positioning them, but they play well. We'll continue. Worms are also very nice for going after heavier things because they can move and attack, while borflies have to basically lure the plasmas into position. So you'll see this was another resurface, rebury, and rebuild the line with a credit advantage. And the wider the credit advantage, the more material you have in comparison to them. So it's easier and easier to make an attack. And now you'll see all these borflies are threatening these base range and this worm too. So I'm completely ignoring all these vast amounts of credits. That's 5 walkers. So that is, oh man, math. 3.75k credits down here, just in walkers that are barely seeing use hitting these outer range guys. And it continues like this. So another important point is focus your attack on the enemy's weakest area. Don't go for where they're strong. Go for where you can make headway, and obviously this could apply for other matchups, but this really helped out here. And now once I obliterated everywhere else, then I was able to corner these walkers and just take the bases, and it was a storm. So just in case you're wondering, some stats for this: killed 172 units. You can see 18 walkers die. That's a heck of a lot of credit spent. A lot of assimilators. One thing on these simulators, he built them in the first round, and then I guess he decided they weren't useful or effective enough, and he didn't build them again. I think moderation in assimilators is good. Having 1, 2, 3, depends on the size of your buildup, but assimilators are a useful deterrent. But when you're just covered with assimilators, then it's easy for the underlings to pick them off. 15 cyber underlings. That means he assimilated 15 of my underlings. And you can see over 153 underlings were lost. They are the real meat grinder and MVP of this match. I used one salamander. It was totally not worth my credits. I can say that. So the salamander was the worst unit in play in this game. Lots of borfly. Yeah, swarmers the most. Then looks like Garudas, worms, and borfly. I think more Garudas at the end because they were just able to get across quickly, deal damage to heavies, whereas borflies have to kind of set up their damage. Lots of plasmas built. I admire his decision to build plasmas. They were some of the most difficult units to take down. The borflies did give me a considerable way in negotiating them. They couldn't attack the plasmas directly, but if the plasmas got too close, they would pounce. Same with speeders. Speeders were good. I feel like he put too many of them on heavy terrain where they were easy targets. And let's see. For the Titans, I would say the MVP was Mechas. They did a great job of blocking me in the beginning on all those mountain tiles. And I say the worst unit in play was probably the Assimilator because they didn't use it properly. Also, Pinzer was very useless, but more useful than Salamander. So that is KVT in a nutshell on a big map build-up. Let me know what you think. If you want me to, if there's a specific matchup you're wondering about whether I could cover, feel free to send me like replay links. I feel very like narcissistic and self-promoting using a lot of my replays, but I hated this match and then I enjoyed the ending. So see you guys.